Hey, church family, thank you again for joining us for today's Daily Devotional. Man, we are just one day closer to Christmas, and it is right here an opportunity for us to celebrate the joy of the Son coming down from heaven to earth, and we know to eventually pay the price for our sin. Really, that is a joyous time, and I hope that just like this week we've been talking about celebrating joy, I hope that you have been joyful and celebrating the joy of the good news as a family as you get ready to move closer to Christmas. So today we're going to pick right back up in John chapter 16, picking up where Brother Brent left off yesterday. And we're going to be verses 21 and verses 22, which say, "When a woman is in labor, she has pain because her time has come. But when she has given birth to a child, she no longer remembers the suffering because of the joy that a person has been born into the world." Wow, what a crazy set of verses here, but they make sense in the grand scheme of the passage. To know that pain is but for a moment. Now, I don't want to belittle childbirth. Word on the street is it's pretty bad. Some women suffer through childbirth much longer than others. But I've never met, and I'm not saying that she's not out there, but I've never met a mom who has said, "Hey, childbirth was so painful, it wasn't worth it for my kid." I've never met anyone who has been there. In fact, in my experience, most people talk very little about the pain of childbirth once their child is born, because the joy of a new life entering the world, not just a new life, but their new life, a new life that they and their spouse have come together to create, a new life that God has given them to steward over. The joy of that is so great that the pain it seems just like a moment. As great as it may be, it is just a moment. And we can always look past that pain, or mothers can look past that pain to know of the joy that's coming. That's really what Jesus is trying to get at, see, because he knows that the disciples are about to experience some great pain. They're about to lose their rabbi, the man that they have been following this whole time, their teacher, someone who they love, someone who they worship, the one that they worshiped. He's about to leave their lives, and he knows that they're going to feel pain. And Jesus is just trying to express to them, hey, pain is just for a moment, but the joy that's going to come is much greater. And what we know is that joy that was going to come for them is whenever they found out that he was indeed alive, that while he had died, the tomb was empty and he wasn't there. And the greatest part of that joy is that they would never have to face the pain of the death of their rabbi, of their teacher, of Jesus Christ again, because Jesus would never die again, because he defeated death. And then later they would realize not only had he defeated death himself, he defeated death for you and me, for them. That joy that can come from that is so much greater than the pain that is experienced in life. We face difficult circumstances, I know, painful times in our own life, but my hope is that we also take time to look at the joy that can come from that, or the joy that comes after those times. And that's really what our author is trying to get us to look at here with these questions. So our first question is, what is the most painful experience that you can remember? And how would you describe it? How would you describe the most painful experience that you've ever had? And then the second question, how does it impact the ways you live to know that Jesus, the reason for our joy, is alive and that this will never change? I don't love the wording of that question, so I'm going to reword it a little bit. How does the knowledge that Jesus is alive and he is the reason for our joy impact the way that you live, and knowing that is never going to change? How do you live in the light of that knowledge? Church family, that is a huge piece of information that we need to stir up for ourselves, to know what that knowledge means for us and the joy that comes for that, and allow that to be a fuel that literally never runs dry in our lives, a motivation that never runs dry, that continues to give us energy to move forward. It's joy. It's joy of knowing that Jesus is alive and he will always be alive. And he died and now came alive so that we could have eternal life. There's great joy to be found in that. As you are thinking through that joy and celebrating that joy this week, I want you to know that we love you and we're praying for you.